take off like... Listen.
Tomi's World.
Hey guys, and welcome back to Tomi's World. You already know it's your girl Tomi, and I am back with another video. So in today's video, I will be telling you guys about my craziest dating experience, period. I have told you guys about my craziest dating experience while solo traveling, my craziest dating experience while in Japan, and I have a few more, unfortunately, at the young age of 22. But the craziest dating experience I have ever had in my life. Let's go. So this particular story happened while I was back in college and I was 16 years old. And you know that when you watch the movies, they make you think that college is gonna be this period of partying and getting wasted and smoking. I wasn't planning to do any of that. Daddy, I know you're watching. Not me, not your little girl. But the partying part really called to me. So once I went into college, I was just super psyched to go to parties. Unfortunately, my college was not a party school, so we had to find alternate methods because the movies said college was the time to party, drink, smoke, have fun, and meet your soulmate. Am I lying? I didn't think so. So the alternative method that we came up with is that we would go clubbing. Now in Jamaica, the age of consent for clubbing and drinking is 18. When I went to college, I was 16. However, I have always been bigger in body than the rest of my friends, so I got away with a lot of stuff, including getting into clubs. So I was 16, but I had my college ID and it didn't have your date of birth. So of course you could use it to get into clubs. Easy. Listen, I used to go clubbing on Friday night and then we come back at like 6 a.m. because my college had a curfew, so you can't enter the college after 12 until 6 a.m. in the morning. So if you got locked out, you just got locked out, period. But whatever, because we weren't looking to go back in anyway. When I was in college, I was a little cute, you know, not like, I don't know, I'll show you so you guys can see what I look like in college right here. Right? So this is what I was looking like this is what I was working with, okay? So when we go to these clubs, it was me and I think 6 of my other friends. We were in a little girl gang that we called the Puppy Tail Girls because our very first party that we ever went to, we entered a puppy tail competition. Now this is a dance from Jamaica where you move your bottom like this. Watch the girl, let me back it every girl back a bend, girl do the puppy tail with a man back of them. And then you do your bottom like a dog's tail. Anyway, we were called the Puppy Tail Girls because we won that competition, and ever since then we went everywhere together, including these clubs. So whenever we would go to the clubs, I mean, my girls are beautiful, I'm beautiful, so we would always end up meeting guys. They were all older than me, so they didn't have a problem with meeting guys. They met guys, and these guys would give us like rides back to college after the parties. They would take us to second parties. We were having fun. Anyway, I was always the chubby girl of the group, and if you know, you know, no one wants the chubby girl. So I always got lucky. I never had to be the one to pick up the guy and get the ride back to school. Well, technically at the time I didn't feel lucky because I mean no one wants the chubby girl, but the chubby girl wants someone. Excuse me? I might be chubby, but I have feelings inside my fat heart. Oh my god, pick me. Now everyone wants the chubby girl. Get out of my DMs, people's husbands. Anyway, I was always the one to start the party, the life of the party at this club because, as I said, I am the youngest one there. So I was probably the most excited one to be there. So probably that's why I never got the guys, because I was always the crazy girl dancing in the middle. Anyway, this one particular day was my time. And even though I was always the crazy girl, this guy was attracted to my crazy, which was a little bit sketchy, because my crazy is like a lot of crazy. It's not a little bit, okay? So I'm like, sir, you think you can handle this? Okay. But guess what? His crazy was more than my crazy. That's why he came. I should have seen that coming, but I didn't. I was 16. I was naive. I was naive. Give me this one. Pass. So this guy calls one of my friends over. My friend comes back and she's like, him over the same like you. That's, he said he likes you. And him want me if you come dance with him. Are you gonna go dance with him? So I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever, because it just is what it is and I'm just there to have fun. So I go over, I'm dancing with him, and he just starts flossing. Like, not the dance. Flossing is a Jamaican word that means spending money. Yeah, so he was spending his money on me and all of my friends. He was like, what do you want to drink? Ask your friends what they want to drink. I'm gonna get something at the bar. So my friends are like, I want rum creams and I want this and that. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I want too, because I don't drink, I don't know anything. So anything my friends say, I'm like, yeah, I want one of that. And he was spending money all night. I kid you not, this guy probably spent over 30 grand just on drinks for my friends. So he came to the club with his uncle who had just come from overseas. So he took him out to have some fun. And his uncle was also interested in one of my friends, and he was a much older guy. So my friend was not so interested, but it is what it is. It is what it is. We were all there with his uncle and him, and he was ensuring that we all had a good time, and I was just dancing and trying to be cute. I mean, it kind of comes naturally, but we're just gonna use the word trying. Everything was happening and I'm like, okay, cool, 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 cool. You know what I mean? Then it all escalates a little bit because he's like, hey, can you follow me downstairs to go check on my car, because I parked it not in a parking lot and I want to make sure that it's fine. The downstairs part of the club is not that safe because the club is situated in a bad area. So I wasn't really big on going down, but my friends were like, you'll be fine, you'll be fine, because we were talking all night. We weren't just dancing, because he was trying to actually get to know me. So he told me that he's an officer of the law. He's a police officer. You would think that's a good thing, but it's not. He told me that he's a police officer, so everyone's like, Tomi, it's totally fine, follow him and go check on the car. I'm like, guys, if I don't come back in 10 minutes, come find me. Come find me. I take out my phone and I'm like, look at the time right now, 10 minutes from now, come find me. So we go downstairs to check on his car, and we're walking like a very far distance away from the club, because he said he parked far away because the parking near to the club was full. After about the first 3 minutes, I'm like, listen, I'm not gonna go any further. And he's like, okay, it's fine, it's fine. That's smart, because as I said, I'm a police officer, so I know that you shouldn't trust strangers, but I want you to know that I'm not a stranger. I knew you from before tonight. I start looking like, what do you mean? Because if he knew me before, then he would know that I'm not of age. So he told me that he had seen me before at the Miss Teen St. Thomas pageant that I was in, because a family friend of his judged the pageant, and that is when he had met me. So that means this guy knew my age prior to even like asking me to dance or to offer me alcohol. But he didn't care about any of this, because at the Miss Teen St. Thomas pageant, you have to like introduce yourself and everything like that. So they know my age, where I live, everything. Anyway, once he finishes telling me that, I am taken aback and I'm like, this is weird. Like, ew, you know that I'm a baby. I'm 16. He just goes in and tries to kiss me, because this is so romantic. I knew you from you were a baby. I've been grooming you, watching you grow up right in front of my eyes and start to get breasts, start to get your period. And this, all of this turns me on, that I know this about you. Huh? These men. Anyway, Anyway, guys, after this happens, I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go back upstairs. So we go back upstairs where my friends are, and I tell them that this guy knows me from before. No, there were several reasons why I wouldn't know him. First, at the pageant, I was on stage. He was in the audience, so that's how he would know me and me not know him. Secondly, while he was talking to us, I didn't even know that like he was actually a police officer. We kind of thought he was low-key lying because his accent was fully African. How do you speak like this if you're Jamaican? Well, I do it all the time. Now I'm contradicting myself. You know what? Let's move on. I just thought everything was strange. Anyway, he was not gonna just let me go like that because he had finally gotten the girl that he had wanted all these years apparently. So he was like, can I take you guys back to your home? So I said, we're not going home right now, we're going back to school. So he said he would take us back to school, him and his uncle. His uncle was a big guy, so both of them sat in the front, and then all 6 of us were like sitting on each other in the back because they were taking us back to school. Once we get to school, he tells me that he's also from St. Thomas, which is where I'm from, and I probably should have known that since he was at the pageant, Miss Teen St. Thomas, dum dum. So he asked me if I could come and look for him in St. Thomas the next day. So I said I'm not coming back home for now because I don't have any money and I'm a college student. I'm trying to say all these things so he'll just back off. This guy whops out a big pile of cash from his pocket and he's like, how much is it gonna cost you to come home tomorrow?
Wait a damn minute.
I'm like, no, I'm fine. I'm fine. My friends are like, take the money, take the money. So he gives me like a stash of money that's probably this thick, and it was probably just like 10,000 Jamaican dollars, which is like 90 US dollars. And he says I should come to St. Thomas to see him. I go home the next day and I'm so scared because it was one of those times when a lot of police officers were murdering their spouses, and the entire situation was just so scary for me. I was 16. All I wanted to do was go to the club and party. Anyway, I went home that day to see him, and he was telling me about how he had loved my skin color and everything and how he really wants to talk to me. So I'm like, listen, I'm gonna level with you. I don't want to be in a relationship with you. I'm only 16. I don't know if you thought I was older now or whatever, but I'm only 16 and I don't think it's appropriate to be dating a guy this much older than me. And I had the money that he gave me and I'm like, I want you to take this back because I think it's way too much and I don't want to owe you, because I hate owing people or feeling like someone gave me something that I will need to pay back, if you know what I mean. So he says, please keep the money. I'm like, no, I'm not taking it. Please take it back. So he goes on to ask if we could be friends since I don't want to date him. And I'm like, okay, friends sound fine, because it did sound fine. When we were doing this we're gonna be friends thing, he asked me one day if I could follow him to the passport office because his uncle, who was supposed to go back overseas where he actually lives, needed to get a new passport. So I'm like, okay, fine. Listen, do you get a pattern here? Like from all the stories I've ever told you, you know what's happening next, right? And to tell you this passport office story, I have to tell you that I was not in college at this time because we were home on like Easter vacation or whatever holiday comes in April. I don't even remember at this point. So I was in St. Thomas and the passport office was in Kingston, and I was staying at my grandma's house at that time, but I felt like I was an adult. So I told my grandma that I was gonna go look for some friends in Kingston, so if something was to go wrong she wouldn't even know where the heck I was. Listen, queen of just making horrible decisions here. So I leave all the way from St. Thomas, go to Kingston with this guy, and once we get to Kingston, his uncle is almost finished in the passport office. He asked me to call my friend who he met at the club too and ask if she wanted to hang out and if there was anywhere cool to go. Now my friend told them that she lived in another part of Kingston, so if they wanted to see her then we all would have to go there and we could hang out at the beach. Horrible idea. We all go to the beach. It's pretty chill. We're just chilling out, and then they ask if we want to go into the water. So I'm like, I didn't bring any clothes to go into water. I just have what I have on right now. So he's like, well, by the time you get back to St. Thomas, you will be dry, so you don't have anything to worry about. Me. Okay, let's go then. So we go into the water and it's all chill at first. We're just swimming around, making a fool. My friend is over one side with the other guy and I'm over one side with him. Then he starts like grinding up on me. So I'm like, what are you doing? This time I'm not even gonna lie, I was so innocent. I don't even know what is happening. I'm like, what are you doing? So he says he's just going to put a point in. I did not understand what that meant, but that was not gonna happen. Nothing was going inside anything. So I got super angry and I stormed out of the water. And I went to like sit over one side and he was like, I'm acting like I'm above him and whatever. So I'm there just so worried because this was my ride to go back to St. Thomas, which was like an hour and 30 minutes away at this point. Just thinking about all the bad decisions I've made in my life. Anyway, obviously nothing happened, but I stopped talking to him after that. But he kind of was talking me for a really long time after. Where I live in St. Thomas is really close to the police station. So I have to pass the police station at any given time before I get to my house. So there was this one day when I'm coming home from school and it was just the weekend, like a Friday night, and I'm so scared that I call my cousin to come pick me up in the square. My cousin is like, it's like literally 3 minutes. I'm like, I'll buy you something to eat, just come get me. He comes to get me. I'm walking by the station talking with my cousin. Everything seems chill. I just hear this voice.
Hey, Tomi.
I look around. It's this guy. How the hell did he know that I was coming? I turn to my cousin and I'm like, hey, do you want to play race? Like, play race? I don't know if you guys say that. He's like, yeah, but what do I get if I win? I'm like, you're not gonna win. And I just take off like... Listen, as I said, this was the time when police officers were killing the woman that they were with. Like, it was nothing. I was not about to be a statistic. Anyway, he ended up getting transferred to another police station, and he said that he would leave me alone because obviously I wasn't interested. And this was like 6 months later. I'm like, oh, now you get it. Listen, I don't normally end these story times with anything profound, but oh my god, can you guys please just leave women alone? Can you just let us be? Let children be. Let women be. Stop killing us. Stop threatening us. Stop making us scared. Stop doing those things. Just let us be. No is no. It's that simple. Why can't you understand that? Oh my god. Anyway guys, that is it for this story time. Thank you guys so much for watching as per usual. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Support your girl over here on Tomi's World, and I will see you in my next video. Bye. Mwah.